All right, good evening. My name is Mr. Jake. I'm your OET facilitator. Today we are going to study OET reading part A. So, in part A of the OET reading test, you have to answer 20 questions on a separate four text. You have 15 minutes to do this on test day. The text in the section will be labeled A to D and present information in different ways, but all relates to the health condition or the type of treatment. Okay, so we are going to look at some of the four texts. So, in your examination, you may see four texts just like this: text A, text B, text C, and text D. So, when you have the four texts in front of you, it is very important for you to apply a very good techniques. Okay, the first technique you need to apply is to make sure you familiarize yourself with the text. So you have to skim. When you skim in, it means you are reading very fast, not for better understanding, but just to generate a general idea about the text. Then you have to scan for very important information. This will help you locate your answers. Okay, so we quickly skim A, then we go to B, C, and D. Then we have to scan for very important features in the text. So that is what we are going to do now. So in text A, we are now going to skim pediatric nasogastric tube use. So we have nasogastric is the most common route for enteral feeding. It is particularly useful in the short term and when it's necessary to avoid a surgical procedure to insert a gastrostomy device. So you can quickly finish reading. Then you go here, we have another paragraph. Issues associated with pediatric nasogastric tube feeding include. Then you can see bulletin down here. So all these bulletin indicates issues. Okay. All right. So if you're going to scan, you can see that we have tube use. That is introduction of tube use. All right. Then we have issues. This means the text contains tube use, then issues. Text B also contains inserting the nasogastric tube. All right. Then if you look at it carefully, down here we have 1 and 2. Okay. Then we have bulletins down here. So this is separate information, and this one too is separate information. Quickly, you can know that this is about tubes because we have all tubes must be radio opaque throughout their length and have externally visible markings. Then we have wide bore and fine bore. So this is what they are referring to, all tubes. And therefore you can label here as type of tubes or kinds of tubes or different kinds of tubes. All right, when you look at down here, we have wash and dry hands thoroughly. Place all the equipment needed on a clean tray. So this is why OET is unique for healthcare workers. If you're a worker and you have clinical knowledge, you will understand that washing and drying hands thoroughly, placing all the equipment needed on a tray is about you preparing for what? A procedure. So all these points here are the steps you follow during the procedure. Therefore, the text contains types of tubes and a procedure, which is inserting the nasogastric tube. In text C, we can see group of information in the box. So first group, first, second, then it follows. You can also see arrows attached to them. Okay, then we can see no here and yes here. So in examination, when you see arrow attached to um, certain features or objects, it is indicating a direction you must follow. So these are the direction you should go. Then also, you can see yes and no here and yes. So yes and no coming in indicate safety measures or certain safety, ensuring safety when performing a procedure. Okay. Therefore, you can label this text as safety, or there's something common or unique you must notice. We have aspirate here when it's can. We have aspirate here. When we have aspirate here, we have aspirate here, we have aspirate here. So aspirate is very common in the text. Therefore, you can label it as safety because of the yes or no, or aspirate. In text D, you can also see administering feed or fluid via a feeding tube. So it's about giving feed or serving feed through a feeding tube. Okay. So we have feeds or fluid. This is specific. That means a type of food that you are going to give. All right. And when you go through the text, you can see feeds are ordered through a referral to the dietitian. So we can see feeds here. We also have feeds must be delivered. So we have feeds here. We have all feeds. Okay, this should tell you that the text contains feeds. It's more about feeds. Okay, you can even see express breast milk. This is a fluid, so it's type of feed. All right. So the text here is more about feeds or fluid. So guys, this is the cross-matching type of questions we are going to solve under part A. Now that we've studied the text and we've analyzed it carefully, we are now going to use 4 minutes to answer 7 questions in examination condition. However, because of this presentation, I will spend more time to do it. Ideally, you're supposed to use maximum 4 minutes to finish 7 questions, just to save time, because OET reading part A is kind of speed text. You need speed and accuracy. All right. So question number 4. Question number 1. The risks of feeding a child via a nasogastric tube. So we go to the text that contains information about risks of feeding a child via a nasogastric tube. Among the 4 texts, which of them contains the information? Then you write the letter against the question number. Text D is about feeds and fluid. Text C is about safety or aspirate. Text B is about type of tubes and a procedure. Text A is about tube use and issues. So we are looking for a text that contains risks of feeding a child. Issues over here can be paraphrased as risks or problems or challenges. And these are the risks. Okay? You can even get another proof over here. Increased risk of gastroesophageal reflux. So text A, number 1 will be text A or A. Question number 2, calculating the length of tube that will be required for a patient. So just by the look of the question, you can see it's about taking information, okay, and is more or less like a performing a procedure. Also, this part of the question is focusing on the tube, okay, length of the tube. Therefore, we go to the text that contains more information about the tube, the types of tube, then we look for information over there, and text B is more likely. This time around, we know our text, so we don't waste time. We rush to the text that we are very sure of. In text B, so when you go down to the procedure, because we are doing calculation, we look for the information. And over here, when you skim quickly, okay, you can learn from here. Measure from the tip of the nose to the bottom of the earlobe. Then from the earlobe to the cervicasternum. The length of the tube can be marked with indelible pen or a note taken off the halfway point between the cervicasternum and the umbilicus. So you can see that This process is a way of doing calculation or performing calculation, and even measure itself can be paraphrased as calculate. Question number three: when alternative forms of feeding may be more appropriate than nasogastric. So over here, we are looking for alternative forms of feeding. So this side is not about the type of feeding or a particular food. Sorry, it's not about a particular food like the information in text D, which can confuse anybody. In text D is specific on feeds or fluid. But alternative forms of feeding is referring to a method of feeding or a system of feeding. Therefore, we have to go to the text that is more likely to contain that information. Text D is about feeds or fluid. Text C is about safety or aspirate. Text B is about type of tools and a procedure. And text A is about tube use and issues. Therefore, I'll be convinced to go to text A. In text A, now we are not too convinced about the information, so we look for the answer, alternative form of feeding. Okay, so nasogastric is the most common route for enteral feeding. It is particularly useful in the short term and when it is necessary to avoid a surgical procedure to insert a gastrostomy device. However, in the long term, gastrostomy feeding may be more suitable, so more appropriate, more suitable, which has been paraphrased. Then, what is next over here? Gastrostomy feeding may be more suitable. So, gastrostomy is the alternative form. All right. Question number 4: who to consult over a patient's liquid food requirements? So, guys, our main purpose is to look for who to consult. However, a patient's liquid food is giving us a clue in the question. Okay? Most questions will give you a clue, a particular word that will take you to the text. So, in the 4 texts, it is only text D that you can find liquid food, which is feeds or fluid. So we are in text D because of the key word over there, a patient liquid food. And we have administering feeds or fluid. Fluid is a liquid food. So we can now read further. Fees are ordered through a referral to the dietitian. So the question is looking for who to consult. Therefore, a referral consultation to the dietitian. And dietitian is the specialist or the clinician we need to consult. Okay, question number 5. The outward appearance of the tubes. Guys, like I said before, most of the questions, there will be a particular keyword that will take you to the text. So we have the tubes, and we know this is plural, it is referring to type of tubes. Therefore, we go to the text that contains type of tubes, which is text B. Then we look for the information about the outward appearance. In text B, we are under types of tubes. So we have tube 1, tube 2. Okay, we are looking for the information about outward appearance. And just on top here, all tubes must be radio opaque throughout their length and have externally visible markings. So externally, okay, refers to outward, or it has been paraphrased as outward, externally. Then visible markings, which represent the appearance. All right. Question number 6. Knowing when it is safe to go ahead with the use of a tube for feeding. So we are looking for where we can get information about knowing when it is safe. So it is more about safety measures. Okay. Since the question is about ensuring safety, we will not waste time. Therefore, we go to the text that contains safety measures or steps you need to follow after performing the procedure. Or in text C, we can see that we have information about aspirate obtained. No, these are the things you need to do. So that means it is not safe to go ahead. Okay. All right. Aspirate obtained. Yes. These are the direction or the things you need to do. So to know when it is safe to go ahead, it is in this text. Aspirate obtained. Yes, it is safe to go ahead this way. Okay, guys, this is our last question. How regularly different kinds of tube need replacing? So the question is about how regularly and replacing. Okay, it's about how regularly the tubes needs replacing. That's what we are going to look for. However, we have a clue. We have different kinds of tube. In other words, you can say type of tubes. Okay. Therefore, we go to the text that contains types of tubes, and that is text B. And we look for the information about how regularly replacing or need replacing. All right. So guys, because of the important information about different kinds of tubes, that is why we came to this text. We have all tubes, okay, and we have one wide bore for short-term use only. Should be changed every 7 days. So change, replacing every 7 days is a regular time. Every 7 days is a routine, regular time. Then we have fine bore for long-term use. Should be changed, that is replacing, changed every 30 days. So every 30 days is a regular time. Therefore, the information is in text B. All right. Thank you for watching and staying with me. My name is Mr. Jake, and I'll see you in another class. Bye bye.